So welcome to the Adventures with the Matthews channel. Here's our latest project. We've decided to move a grain bin. So we've got the GLG out there, and we have a 60-ton rotator to allow us to lift the grain bin. We're at this point kind of putting a plan together. So we've decided that we needed to pull it with a farm tractor. So we've got our flatbed trailer, and then we're going to pull the grain bin with the farm tractor. If you look closely here, you'll see lowering the hook down through the top. So we opened up the hatch, and then the hook and cable are going down through the top. The idea behind it is we'll put a car rim to the hook with some straps. And then off to your right, you'll see the trailer getting positioned and put into place. The idea behind the farm tractor is that it's more legal than it would be to pull it with a truck. This is a farm implement pulling a farm device. See how that works. So now you get a look inside here. See how the rigging starts to work. That holes that you see all the way around is a ring of bolts that we took off. And then you can see the car rim there as they're feeding the strap through it. The ring of holes is where we're going to separate it into two pieces and hopefully move it that way where it's two pieces. Should put us about 14 foot tall with the top one, 18 feet wide. Again, they're rigging the strap through the rim.
So here's the plan. We're out at Keith Garman's today, and Dad decided he wanted a grain bin. Keith had one he wanted to get rid of. So with a short plan, we decided to unbolt the grain bin in the middle, lift it from the top, set it on the trailer, and take it to the farm. Now there's some complications along the way. This is 18 feet wide, 21 feet tall. So with the proper calculations, we're going to be over width and slightly over height. So I don't know what's proper about that at all. Stay tuned, we'll see what happens.
Big thanks to Tasmo Towing and their new rotator here helping us out. So now we've got the rigging in place and we've got a little bit of lift on it. So we've decided to take the last few bolts out and start separating it at the seam. Some of the places we had to cut some of the bolts because they've been there for quite a few years. We keep working our way around it to get those bolts loose and then start working it loose at the seam like we're doing right here. So they actually overlap. So we had to take some of those loose and then work it where we're getting the seam so it'll slip over the top of each other. So when you make a lift like this, you put a tie wire or tie rope on it so it'll help hold it in place. Today was a pretty windy day, so this helped us keep it from swinging around and get it to where we need it to be. So the cable on the top and then the tie rope on the side. Here you see Dad driving, which is pretty scary. Not really. But and I'm tying it off, getting it ready to go so we can make the lift. We feel like we're getting pretty close at this point. A few more last bolts that we're getting cut off. We had to actually go on some of the vertical seams and take a few of those out to allow the panels to be able to expand over the top of the prior panels. And again, once we get the bolts off, just keep working that seam loose with a little lift on top of it. I feel like we're getting pretty close at this point. And lift off. So it came up pretty good. See the guy with the rope there keeping it steady, and the lift went really no problems at all. As we lift it up here, we'll get plenty clear and then prepare to swing. Plenty of people in place. Everybody's watching to make sure that everything looks good. Randy's there on the controls doing a great job. And Now he's got it up in the air, and he'll start a swing, working our way around, and then we'll start getting the tractor in place so we're not up in the air for too long.
A few more calculations and we're up in the air.
So we continue to work here and start to make the swing. As we start swinging, we realize that there's no way we're going to be able to set it down behind the truck because of the width of the unit. So we're going to swing it on around to the other side of the truck, and then Dad's going to come in with the tractor and be positioned on the other side of the truck, and then we'll set it down. So here we've got it off to the other side of the truck, and the tractor's backing the trailer in. Everything seems to be going real smooth. And we start to actually set down into place. And that hole in the top that we're lifting from has a cap that goes over it. It was setting up on top, and the wind blew it, and it flipped over and made a loud bang. And we thought at that point that the top was actually ripping loose. So we set it down really fast. A little bit later on, we figured out that wasn't an issue there at all. It was just that cap that covered the hole in the top. Now we start figuring out how we're going to get it set in place. There's my brother up there taking off the guide rope. And then my son and one of his buddies are bringing in the lumber. We're going to attach that inside and make 2 X's to make the bottom stable so it can't flex in or out. So we're getting the wood in there. They'll use a couple pieces and just overlap them, attach it to the actual grain bin on the sides using the holes that are open from us splitting it apart into 2 pieces. Again, plenty of good help on this project. Made it fun. Family affair, family and friends, and made it all work out just perfect. Okay, so we're putting the other wood in there for the X bracing. Lots of good help on this project. Family and friends. Made it fun. It was awful chilly and windy on this day. Just needed to make sure that we could make it as stable as possible. Here my brother pushed on a little bit and noticed how easy it moved, so we realized we had some work to do. I'll continue to get that bracing in place, and then we're going to figure out a way to secure it down.
Turn up that impact if you want.
Here's a view from the inside. You can see the bracing actually going into place. I make fun of my brother here just a little bit. You'll see guys are working. He comes into the right side of the frame. He'll pick up a drill. Look at it for just a little bit. Put a battery on it. Realize everybody else has got it under control. And then he puts the drill away. If we didn't give him a hard time, no. So now we're able to feel like it's secure enough to go ahead and take the lifting rigging off. So there's the car tire we talked about earlier. And the hook will actually go on out of here. X bracing's in place to keep it from getting narrower or wider. Kind of a cool shot there, looking up at the opening and the top of it. Here we're moving on to the bottom half. We were going to do this in 2 separate days and 2 separate picks, but we decided with all the equipment we had there and everything set up, we'd just go ahead and get it done. So we're starting to put a plan together on exactly how we're going to lift the bottom half. We'll use our JLG trailer to move it. Back to the first one, we use some link brackets here in some of the bolt holes that we got and put straps from those link brackets straight down to the trailer to give it some downward holding power. Back over onto the bottom section now. We're using an I-beam going across to spread our lift. And attaching the I-beam to the holes in the grain bin using chains and clamps and longer bolts. That's what they're doing right now, is putting the bolts in through there. Straps are set up there with a nice veer angle on the top for the choker configuration. And we're going to put some clamps there to keep them in place before there's tension on the lines. Keep it good in the center. Getting set up here just to make sure the chains are tight and secured and nothing can go awry. That's the hope anyway. Cool picture of the boom there with the straps in place to get it lifted and ready to go. The other crew was working on the first bin, and it's secured and ready to go behind the tractor, and it's just being moved out of the way and ready for transport down the road. Again, we're 18 feet wide is where we're setting at. Back over to the bottom. We've got some tension on it. Everything seems to be right. So this is tarred to the ground. There's a flat lip on the bottom of it. We're working our way around to get the tar broke loose. There was cables that held it down. We've already got those cut off. So everybody's working the way around there to get that tar loose. And it's just about ready. They got some tension on it. You'll see here in a minute it's going to lift, and we've got our job done and ready to fly this other side through the air. It broke loose, and now we're ready to make this lift. Everything's good. It's up in the air. Got our old dump truck there with the bigger trailer behind it. Best we can figure, it's gonna fit. So we'll swing it around there. Get it set into place. This lift went pretty good as well. Not that I was surprised, but, well, maybe a little bit. We get this over there and into place, and then we've cross-braced this as well. We're able to go in and cross-brace this one because there's no top or bottom on it. Setting it right down there onto the trailer now. Just barely enough trailer before it went to the dovetail to make it fit. So we have to do some adjustments here. Kind of guide rope on that as well. Couldn't have worked any better, really, that rotator and the spreader bar or beam that we used to get the lift spread out so it wouldn't collapse, and get it over here and set into place. Figure out exactly how we're going to strap that one down. Lots of jockeying back and forth here and side to side just to make sure. Didn't have much room to play with. I think we got about 19 foot of deck on this trailer and this 18 foot of grain bins. So we're just getting it set down just right to make it fit and stable enough to go down the road and not have any mishaps. This should be about 13 feet tall, roughly, when it's up sitting on the trailer there. Just getting the hooks out of the way and rings and getting all the equipment there to get it set down into place. Getting down out of the truck, and I think we're touched down and ready to figure out how to strap it down and keep it good and tight so it won't go anywhere. So on this one, we just decided to go with straps up to the top. crisscross those, get it where it's good and secure. I told Dad he needs to stay under 65 mile an hour going down the road. Final securement happening right now, and then the trip went flawlessly down the road. Here we are back at the farm, and we're lifting the bottom section off the big trailer because we have to go back and get the GLG. So using a 6x8 beam there just to spread out the lifting so it doesn't collapse it. Getting it right into place here so we can spread out as far as possible, make it work. So you see, if you look on the left side of the screen, my son Carson's coming in with the skid steer on the other side. He'll be doing the same thing that Dad's doing with the blue tractor. One will lift one side, one will lift the other. Once we get it up in the air, we'll then pull the truck and trailer straight out. As we started setting up for the lift, Leo decided he was going to try to help direct traffic as much as he could. But Vanessa was able to wrangle him away long enough for us to get it up in the air. I realized about this point that both of those are radial lift machines. So in other words, they don't go straight up and down, they go at an arc. So I knew once we actually started going to the ground, we were going to have to make some adjustments.
Leo, come.
Right now we're up in the
Leo,
air and the truck
come.
and trailer are pulling out from underneath it.
Stay.
We'll start working our way down real slow. I'm going from one side to the other to make sure that they're going down equally. It's actually going really well. The blue tractor will sit still and I'll have Carson and the skid steer move forward just slightly as we go down to make sure those walls stay plumb. We got down to about this point and realized we better put some blocks underneath there, so if we want to get forks back underneath there at some point in time we could. Make it easy to get the blocks back out. So Carson and a couple of his buddies there are putting the blocks underneath there. Always a family affair. I think we're just about down on the ground now, and the blue tractor will go out first and make some minor adjustments to the other side to make sure the walls are straight up and down. Now we'll put the plans together to get the foundation done. Thanks for watching.